Hey everyone, BadServo here. Next edition of my Orlando 2011 video log. This one's going to be brief because, frankly, I am physically and mentally exhausted. I suppose that as a relatively out of shape and overweight, pale guy of Scot-Irish descent, it's no surprise that sunny Florida vacations don't necessarily agree with my physiology. So, yeah, I'm kind of wiped out. I'll get into kind of what we did today, but first, thanks to an outpouring of well wishes and offers of assistance from my friends on Twitter and other social networks. I just wanted to give an update on my calamity with the car that happened. So the last entry I made, I had said basically that the car had broken down on us while we were while we were an hour away from the hotel, and that we had to have it towed closer to the hotel and get a cab to the hotel, and that ended up being about $150 worth of unexpected expense, and we were basically sitting on close to zero financially, and with an inoperable car. Also, the last I posted, we were told that the expected repairs would cost probably at least $800, but that we were waiting to get pricing and availability back on some parts. So this morning we got up early because the family wanted to go ahead and hit the other Universal Studios park. We had done Islands of Adventure yesterday, and today we're going to do Universal Studios proper. So we got up and headed out there. Shortly after we arrived, I did get a call back from the Firestone people. As it turns out, the parts for the Saturn, my piece of shit Saturn, are so expensive that over $800 repair ended up being closer to $1,200. I almost had a heart attack, obviously, and yeah, so that happened. I called the mechanic back and spoke to him a little bit and kind of explained the situation. Was there any way that we could get a remanufactured compressor instead of a factory new? Could we replace just the compressor and not the associated parts involved with doing a proper warranty job just to get it spinning so we could get home and then worry about actually fixing the air on our arrival? Is there anything else we could do to sort of reduce the cost of this repair? The man was nice enough to take into heart what I was saying. A lot of my suggestions for ways of reducing the repair were undoable, but he did get back to me shortly thereafter, saying that he had found a slightly cheaper compressor and could use it to repair the car, and that would reduce the cost a bit to about $900. Still a pretty tough pill to swallow in the circumstances, but $300 off is $300 off. So made some calls, and as is usually the case when young / approaching middle-aged men find themselves in distress or brokenhearted, mom swoops in to ease the pain. So I'm happy to say that until today, I have never had to borrow money from my mother, really, and I certainly don't plan to make a habit of it, but she was able to pretty much immediately send me enough to cover the repairs and get us home. So that is at least off my mind there. The only worry now is that there's going to be some problem with getting the part in on time or getting the car repaired before we're supposed to check out of the hotel. We're supposed to be here tomorrow, which is Tuesday, and then we're supposed to check out Wednesday morning. So that basically, after me okaying the repair this morning, that gives them basically 1 day to get it done, which is pushing it for a lot of mechanics, I know, at the best of times. So here's hoping to get that squared away, and we'll work on digging ourselves out of the financial pit when we get home. But at least we'll be home, and the car will be there as well. So there's that. Now moving on to more fun stuff. I didn't speak a lot about visiting Islands of Adventure yesterday because I was obviously somewhat distracted with all of the other going on. Um, but nice park. The family had fun. I will say this: I'm not a roller coaster guy. I don't even really like most like pretty much any ride that puts my ass over my head is generally right out for me. I don't do well with jerking and spinning and acceleration. I just don't have the stomach for it. But the Harry Potter's Forbidden Journey ride sounded so awesome that I took a chance on trying it. It's not exactly a coaster, but it does do a bunch of the aforementioned things that my internals don't usually agree with. Phenomenal. Easily my new favorite theme park ride of all time. Really, really fun, really compelling, and immersive effect. If you haven't done it, I strongly recommend it. That said, after hearing a lot of praise for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter section of the theme park, I have to admit I expected a little more. I mean, it's very nice. It's really impressive. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Could have been a little more to it. But really cool. Under different circumstances, I'd have probably come out of there with a wand because things are really neat. They have a lot of heft to them, and they're obviously well crafted. It just looks like it'd be something fun to fidget with at your desk when you're thinking, but that's another matter. So yeah, that was really fun. Even the queue line for the Forbidden Journey ride is really awesome with movie props and animated paintings and that sort of thing. It's really cool. So check it out if you haven't. It's really good. Today, as I said, we did Universal Studios proper. I think the kid and the missus rode Men in Black like 5 times at least. Lots of turns on the Woody Woodpecker coaster. Was kind of surprised that the playground areas, the Fievel area and the Curious George area, didn't have more kids there because, I mean, it was a huge water-filled, ball pit-filled playground area, which, in my experience at theme parks, kids eat up, but it was pretty vacant. The kid pretty much had the run of the show while she was there. But yeah, really fun. Simpsons ride was awesome. Really enjoyed it. I think the kid really enjoyed it. Still disappointed that they tore down the Back to the Future ride because, as I am probably the last guy on the planet that never got a chance to go to Universal Studios before now, I didn't get a chance to check it out before it shut down. But Simpsons seems to be a fairly worthy successor, at least as far as an experience goes. Trying to think of anything else particularly interesting about the rides. Oh, the Disaster ride, which ride show, whatever you want to call it, I was not particularly interested in, but if you can find something creepier than a pseudo-holographic Christopher Walken, you're a liar, because it's very unsettling. So there's that. So yeah, everyone had fun. I won't remark a lot about the parks, since I'm sure most of you have been, but I will make this one observation. Having done Disney a couple of times, and now having done the Universal Studios parks, I will say that while Disney is more expansive, and there's more things to see and do, especially for young children, and I think most families will prefer that, I have to say that from a customer service standpoint, Universal beats it hands down. Hands down. A few examples. There's a lot more shade at Universal Parks. They have a lot more fans and misting fans to keep you cool. The wait times for rides were consistently lower than almost anything I saw at Disney. Every ride has not only the traditional queue and the Fast Pass option, which Universal calls Express Pass, I believe. Most rides also had a single-person queuing line, allowing individuals or families that didn't mind not sitting right next to each other to get through the lines much, much quicker. And, I think that's really great. The staff was extremely friendly and accommodating. There was some inclement weather today, and they did everything they could to keep people happy and, keep the shows running and everything. A lot of neat things to do. I just, all in all, really, really pleased with the customer service experience. Even the queues themselves, if you're in line, a lengthy wait for a line, they have water fountains. Oftentimes, multiple water fountains you can access while you're in the line at points along the line. drink carts at points along the line. Very simple ways to exit if you just want to walk through the queuing area without actually riding. For instance, if you want to escort a family member. Um, yeah, I mean, just overwhelmingly, it was really good. Everyone was really nice and accommodating to have people taking surveys to make sure that everyone's experience is a good one. Like all theme parks, on-site food and beverages are outrageously overpriced, but not as bad as I have seen at other places. Um, yeah, just overwhelmingly positive. Emily today even told me, I mean, she's a 7-year-old girl, and she told me she preferred the Universal parks to the Disney ones. I mean, I found that very surprising, but that's what she said. So, yeah, so that was the park today. Went very well. We pretty much stayed there most of the day, and caught the shuttle back. Had some dinner at the hotel as we were trying to do it on the cheap. But yeah, all in all, a good day. The family just went downstairs for a little swimming, and I'm sure once they close the pool down, they'll be back up, and we'll all pass out. And thankfully, tomorrow's going to be a mellow day. I shouldn't have to get up too extremely early. We'll probably just lounge around and swim, and hope that they call us telling us that the car is repaired so that we can go get that, and that will be a huge weight off my mind. So here's hoping. In the meantime, again, thanks everybody for your well wishes and your thoughts. It makes me feel a lot better about things to know there are people rooting for me, and I will see you next time.